All right, Frater, my name is Greg Roskopf, and I'm the Chief Risk Officer for Tau Kappa Epsilon Fraternity. And I'm here today with 5 things to get you started as the chapter of Pylortes. Now, topics for this session is going to be pretty straightforward. Like I said, 5 quick things. We're going to start off with first, what does the Pylortes actually do? What does it say in that job description? What does it say in the Black Book? 2, how to transition into the role. What are those key steps that get you out of the gate, hit the ground running, and off to where you need to go as the chapter of Pylortes? Third, we're going to talk about resources that are available to you. 4, who you need to talk to. Whose hands do you need to shake? Who do you got to go out there and build relationships with? And lastly, above all else, I want to say if there's going to be a crisis, if there's something comes up, you want to call 911. There's no question there. Call 911. Do not play doctor. Get the help you need. But let's start off here. First, congratulations. You ran, you won, you got the job. Congratulations. That is leadership. I appreciate you. I thank you for stepping up the call and answer for your brothers to lead, especially in this extremely important area as risk management. So what does your job entail? What does that mean? What does it look like? What does the Black Book actually say about the Pylortes? You shall act as the doorkeeper and custodian of the chapter room. Okay, cool. You got to make sure that everything in that chapter room is set up. You got to make sure the ritual equipment's on point. You got to make sure things are in order for that chapter room, especially during ritual. And the doorkeeper piece, for me, goes a little bit more than just the guy at the door, making sure no one enters in and sees what's going on. You got to be that doorkeeper of information a little bit too. You got to understand, all right, we don't want people getting into our business. Now, I'm not talking about secretism and cloaking fraternal wrongdoings. I'm talking about you got to keep an eye out to make sure that what goes on in our brotherhood, what goes on is protected and is kept secret. And I think you get that. You wouldn't have ran for this position if you didn't get this. Keep order at all proceedings of the chapter. You know, if something gets heated or discussion gets out, Pretenus can't wrap the gavel fast enough and get it back into order, it's your role to step in, give them a hand, get the meeting back into order, have everyone take a deep breath, step outside if they got to, but get that thing back going. And lastly, and probably most importantly, is to act as the chapter's risk manager. Now, you are not the only one responsible for risk management. Everyone is responsible for risk management, but you are to act as the chapter's risk manager. You're asked to have that view, to look out a few steps. If you're playing chess, you got to look out a couple of moves. That's what you're asked to do. You're asked to play devil's advocate a little bit. You're asked to protect the organization and put them in a position so that everyone can be successful, and that's members, that's guests. Anyone that the fraternity is going to come in contact with, you got to do your best. Trust your instincts, trust your heart, trust your gut, and just do your best to put people in a position to be successful. All right. Consult your bylaws. Your bylaws may have information in there that is very particular to your campus, or maybe particular to your IFC rules, or maybe particular to what you have a chapter house. So go ahead and consult those bylaws, get educated on them, and learn what your role is and learn how those bylaws act. And have a conversation about it. Have a conversation with your FI and your Pretenus. If you have a risk management committee, as some groups do, if you have a house committee, as some groups do, have a discussion what are in those bylaws, what are in those house rules, whatever that means, so that you guys can have a functional understanding of what it is and where you need to go with it. All right, let's move on. Officer transitions. You got to get this right. So many groups don't put the amount of effort, time, energy into officer transitions, and they lose the institutional knowledge of the chapter from the year before. I got a couple of things up here that I think are key for officer transitions. You may have an officer transitions guide through your campus. There's an officer transitions guide on teak.org. But I think you really got to start off with understanding where the past officers or even the current officers in IFC are, what the lay of the land is, and talk to them about culture. Talk to them about where things are going and what's taking place, the hot topics. So get yourself educated with those individuals as quickly as possible. You got to figure out what projects are still in motion, not complete. That might be your job to actually go out and complete those, or your responsibility to have those completed or have those delegated. You got to figure out what goals were not accomplished. Where are we midstream on some of these goals that we can pick up, finish those off? I always suggest for every officer, whether it's Pylortes or any other officer, is to ask yourself, why did you choose to run for this position? Why did you choose to run for Pylortes? Write that down and have that be sort of your guiding first step. And okay, this is why I ran. This is why I'm doing it. And if you hammer down on that question 2 or 3 times, I think you're really going to have a clear vision in your brain for what you can bring to the office of Pylortes. And then next, have that vision become a reality by setting goals and set a timeline for those goals so you can hold yourself accountable. Again, officer transitions, extremely important. You got to do them. You got to put yourself in a position to be successful. Learn risk management. Out of all those things in transitions, you've got to figure out how to learn risk management. tke.org/risk management. It has all of our guidelines, all of our policies. Anything that you could potentially need, it should be on there. If not, there's the contact information for someone to go out and find it. We put a ton of resources up there, and you need to take the opportunity to review those resources beyond just looking at them or what was in your T guide. You got to take a look at them and start to understand them a little bit better so you can digest it, because people are going to come to you for answers. People are going to come to you and say, hey, what should we do here? Hey, what's your best advice and counsel? And they're going to rely on you. You're a leader. Step up and be one. So take yourself that opportunity to get educated, to put yourself in the best position possible. Learn those guidelines. Learn those policies. Go through them. And if you have questions, ask. By no means do you need to be an expert. By no means do you need to be the utmost authority on them. Like I said, we try to put up as much resource on that website as possible. We're not even going to catch everything because times change, things change, people change. So you got to do your best. And if there's something that you need, ask the questions. Reach out to us. Reach out to our team. We can likely get you either in touch with someone internally or someone out there that can help guide you through and answer those questions. But please take your opportunity here to learn what risk management is all about. And that brings me to point 3, because resources are literally everywhere. Resources are everywhere on the web. You should take advantage of them. Like I just said before, teak.org/risk management. Our insurance company, James R. Favor Corporation, jrfco.com. They have what's called the Fraternal Health and Safety Initiative, which are some programs, just other incentives just to get you going. There's facilitation guides, all sorts of great stuff on there for you to peruse and to take a look at. And lastly, another website that I use in working with groups, just even on, whenever we need to really, is hazingprevention.org. They're a fantastic clearinghouse of resources on hazing and setting up your group for success in terms of member education, new member education, onboarding members, all that. So take advantage of these web-based resources. Like I said, I want to point out a couple things here. The big picture now, just kind of honing in. These are 2 things you should get yourself familiar with. And hopefully you really never have to use them. The official risk management and insurance guide walks through all the FAQs that we get on insurance and how that works. And I understand I send that document out on a weekly basis, and I'm still on the phone talking to people, answering questions, helping get things interpreted. This stuff is not necessarily easy, but it can be explained. It can be digested if you ask questions, if you have them. I also want to point out the incident report form. Now, should there be an incident, should there be a crisis, should something happen, let's do everything we can. That's reasonable. That's within our power to prevent those things. But should something happen, the incident report form, also on teak.org/risk management, also a great resource to help you gather information so we can share and we can lower the frequency, lower the severity of any potential claims, any potential losses, anything that could potentially go wrong. But first and foremost, before you fill that form out, like I said, on point 5, you're not there to play doctor. You're not there to make certain judgment calls when it comes to people's health. If it gets to that level, even if you got to question it, I'm going to reiterate this multiple times, call 911. You probably have a Good Samaritan policy on campus or in the community. You're going to please call 911, get the help that you need. Better to call and not need it than to have the opposite. So who to talk to, who to build relationships on campus in the community. This last year at RLC, I had the opportunity to bring all the students together that wanted to learn more about health and safety and risk management. And the number one thing we talked about were who are the resources, who are the people you could talk to help you with prevention, to help you get ahead of any potential problems, concerns, or questions. Most of this stuff is going to be done locally. You're governed by your local laws. You're governed by your local bylaws. You're governed by your local IFC and campus. So you've got to make the connections with these individuals so they know who you are, you know who they are, and you can freely ask questions and go to them when you have something in need. Now, I put this all up here in no particular order, but these are the people. If I were Pylortes, if I were any chapter advisor, if I were any board of advisors, I would start looking to build these relationships. One, you got to know your internal people. Get to know your chapter board of advisors, get to know your chapter advisor, who those individuals are, and understand how the best way to communicate with them. Your fraternity advisor on campus, campus police. This one is huge. These guys are looking to avoid problems. They're in prevention as much as they are in enforcement, and they are educators too. Otherwise, they wouldn't be working at a university. We've had some issues in the past with campus police at my own university. I put that picture up there. But you know what? A simple conversation, sitting down, talking to them, hey, what are your goals? Here are our goals. This is, it just helps everyone in the better, create the best environment for everyone to have a good time, to socialize, and to enjoy their college experience. So you've got to go out of your way to make these relationships happen. Get to know your local police. Have them assist you in some training, whether it's on a fire extinguisher, whether it's on if you own a house and you need to do a fire drill. Just get to know these individuals. Ask questions during inspections. If you're in a community and have a community association, get to know the leadership. Contribute when you can. Some campuses have had the district attorney come in and talk about some hot topics and some things that they see. Don't see that one as often, but I see it as important. And frankly, anyone who can help, peer health educators, whatever resource center that you have on campus, alumni, any connection that you have to come in, discuss, talk, help educate is going to help set you guys up for success. Just tack on some minutes to a chapter meeting, in exchange for an entire chapter meeting. Make it easy. Don't make this difficult. Make it simple. Go build these relationships outside the meetings, bring them to your members. And I think this is the best way to go about helping educate and supplement the things that you're going to do by going out and finding those people who are frankly considered experts and know the most about your campus and your community. And lastly, I've been saying it this whole time, gonna say it again, don't play doctor. Call 911 in an emergency. If you've got doubts, if you've got concerns, if you think someone needs medical attention, go get trained by someone in the health community on when to see these warning signs. Take a class, educate yourself, and then educate your brothers. Take them with you. But at the end of the day, we're not here to play doctor. We're not here to make those judgment calls. That's why you call professionals. And same thing goes with mental health. You want to be a brother. Brother-to-brother conversations are fantastic. But when it gets to that certain level, and you'll know, you got to trust your gut. You got to trust your heart. Go to those resources and help out. Help that person find the right kind of attention that they need, that he needs, or frankly, if it's one of the women in your community that she needs. Don't think that this is just limited to brothers that you can help. You don't have to go out and look for these things, but if a situation presents itself to you, be prepared. Go through the protocols. Have this discussion now so that you're not doing it in panic, so that you're calm, you're cool, and collected, and call EMS. Don't play doctor. Call 911. Get the help that you need. Now, here's a bonus. I know I didn't answer everything. This is just 5 things to get you started. These are 5 things to get you hitting the ground running. If you've got questions, there's my information. There's the compliance@teak.org email address. Reach out. Ask questions. This is why I do what I do. I love answering questions. I love finding answers. I love helping people work through situations. I love helping people get set up for success. That's why I do what I do. The fraternity is a huge opportunity for you to succeed, for your brothers to succeed, your community to succeed, and we got to put people in a position of health and safety so that they can go out and do the things that they need to do. Fraters, that's all I got for you today. 5 quick tips on how to get started in the role of Pylortes. You got questions, ask them. Thank you for your time. Have yourself a great day.